Storytelling has been around for thousands of years, yet many writers still miss out on powerful tools that can elevate their work. Did you know that 65% of people remember a story better than a simple fact or statistic? That's why stories have been used to teach, persuade, and entertain throughout history. But here's the kicker: only a handful of writers truly tap into the potential of certain plot devices that could make their writing unforgettable. In this video, we're diving into 6 plot devices that can completely change your storytelling game. These aren't the typical tips you hear about everywhere, they're tools that can bring your writing to the next level. From surprising twists to playing with time, we'll show you how to use these strategies in ways that will captivate and even shock your readers. Ready to learn how to grab attention and never let go? Stick around as we break down these powerful techniques and show you how to use them in your next story. Trust me, these tricks will transform how you write forever. Chapter 1: The Misdirection Magic. When what you see isn't what you get, misdirection is one of the oldest tricks in storytelling. It's what magicians use to distract you just before they pull off their biggest trick. In writing, misdirection keeps the audience engaged by leading them down one path only to reveal a twist later. Think of the plot twist in The Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis' character didn't know he was dead the whole time. This technique is powerful because it builds anticipation, creating a gap between what the audience expects and what actually happens. Mastering misdirection requires patience. You can't give it away too early. In fact, one study showed that readers are 30% more likely to finish a story if a twist is introduced after the first major plot point. So, give subtle hints but keep them obscure. The key is not to over-explain. Drop just enough clues to let the reader piece things together themselves. A good example is in Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Its plot constantly shifts, tricking the reader into thinking they have the story figured out. This device works because humans love surprises. According to psychology, we're wired to feel pleasure when our expectations are challenged. It's why plot twists often generate strong emotional reactions. The trick is to stay ahead of your audience. Lead them to think they're right, but don't be afraid to break the rules once they've invested in the story. Chapter 2: The Unreliable Narrator. Truths in Disguise. An unreliable narrator challenges the truth, creating a sense of uncertainty. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger is a classic example. Holden Caulfield tells his story, but his own biases and mental state cloud his version of events. Readers are left questioning what's real and what's not. This strategy adds a rich layer of depth to your characters and encourages the audience to dig deeper into their psychology. Studies show that readers enjoy unreliable narrators because they enjoy the puzzle-like quality of piecing together the truth. In fact, a 2018 survey revealed that 55% of readers enjoy narrators who mislead them, particularly in mysteries and thrillers. These narrators often provide unreliable memories, limited perspectives, or outright falsehoods. But how do you use this technique effectively? You need to create a narrator whose version of the story is compelling, yet flawed. In Life of Pi by Jan Martel, the narrator offers multiple versions of his story, forcing the reader to decide which is the truth. By making your narrator likable and relatable, you can lure your audience into believing what they say, even when it's suspect. Chapter 3: Parallel Realities. Weaving two worlds together. Parallel realities are like a secret ingredient in a writer's toolkit. By introducing two parallel storylines, you create a tension that keeps the reader engaged. The key is to allow these two realities to influence each other. For example, in Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, the stories span different eras and genres, but they are all connected in surprising ways. This technique makes the story feel bigger and more intricate. The power of parallel stories is in the way they mirror each other. They show how small actions in one world can ripple through others. In The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, the circus itself acts as a parallel reality, where the rules of time and space are bent. Readers are often captivated by how these realities intertwine, creating a rich, layered narrative. According to literary analysis, readers are 40% more likely to engage with a book that involves multiple timelines or parallel stories. Why? Because it challenges them to think critically and make connections. The more worlds you introduce, the more intricate your writing becomes, pulling readers in deeper. If you're enjoying these tips, don't forget to subscribe for more writing strategies that will transform your storytelling. Chapter 4: The Prophecy That Breaks the Chain. Fate versus Free Will. Prophecies are a powerful storytelling tool that can shape a character's journey. The idea that fate is inescapable creates an inherent tension, as we all wonder whether we can truly avoid our destiny. In Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the prophecy about Harry and Voldemort shows how two characters' destinies are intertwined, even if they don't know it yet. But what happens when the prophecy is broken or doesn't come true? Oedipus Rex by Sophocles is the perfect example. The prophecy in the play predicts that Oedipus will kill his father and marry his mother. But his attempt to avoid it only makes it come true. This paradox is at the heart of many great stories. Fate versus free will creates a tension that readers can't resist. According to research by narrative experts, stories that explore this theme are 25% more likely to resonate with readers because they tap into universal fears and desires. The key to using prophecies effectively is to keep them vague enough to be interpreted in multiple ways, creating room for surprise and character growth. Chapter 5: The Unspoken Conflict. Silence speaks louder than words. Sometimes, what's not said can be more powerful than any dialogue. In literature, the unspoken conflict often manifests in the spaces between words. A character's silence can communicate more than their spoken thoughts ever could. In The Great Gatsby, Gatsby's unspoken love for Daisy speaks louder than any conversation they have. Silence builds tension, and tension keeps the reader hooked. One study found that readers are 50% more likely to be emotionally invested in stories that focus on internal conflict. That's because internal struggles are universal. Everyone has moments of doubt or confusion, even if they don't express them aloud. By highlighting what your characters leave unsaid, you allow the reader to empathize with them more deeply. A great example is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. The book's sparse dialogue forces readers to pay attention to the small, meaningful moments, the way characters look at each other, or the quiet decisions they make. Silence, in this case, becomes a tool for building intimacy and tension. Chapter 6: Time Travel Without the TARDIS. Shifting through eras, time doesn't always need to travel in a straight line. Some of the best stories use time shifts to deepen the plot. The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger shifts between different points in time to show how love, fate, and memory intertwine. Instead of a traditional time travel narrative, the book weaves through the character's life in non-linear ways, creating an emotional rollercoaster. Research shows that stories with non-linear timelines can improve reader retention by 28%. Why? Because readers love the thrill of piecing the timeline together. By jumping through different periods in a character's life, you create a richer backstory and reveal motivations in unexpected ways. This technique works particularly well in emotional and complex narratives. In Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, the protagonist jumps back and forth in time, living his life out of order. This non-linear structure mirrors the chaos and trauma of war, making the story more immersive. When you manipulate time, you control how the reader experiences emotion, heightening the stakes of the narrative. If you found these techniques helpful, make sure to subscribe for more writing tips that can take your storytelling to new heights. This article dives deep into unique and powerful plot devices, offering strategies, examples, and insights that will level up your storytelling game. Whether you're working on a novel, a short story, or even a script, these devices will help you create more captivating and memorable narratives.